You are listening to Grim and Stone, the Mountain Perspective. This podcast may contain objectionable language.
Welcome to Grim and Stone, the Mountain Perspective. This is our take on what's happening in the world. How you doing there, Stoney?
I am doing all right. I woke up yet again.
Yay! Good deal.
It's not what we say most of the time.
Well, that is true. You're kind of rustly this morning.
Kind of what?
Rustly sounding. Is your hair rubbing on your microphone?
It was in my beard, but I just lifted it up.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's much better. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's kind of get right into this here. I got two updates. As most people know, unless they live under a rock somewhere, George Jones died last Friday. But what a lot of people don't know is George Jones was a Marine. In 1951, he served for 3 years and pretty much served it all at Camp Pendleton. He really didn't go anywhere. So, we just wanted to kind of get that out there to salute a fellow veteran and thank him for his service. And Possum, you will be missed.
Yeah.
Let's see. Remember that young lady I was talking about last time? Adrianne Haslet, the ballroom dancer who lost a foot?
Mm-hmm.
Found out this morning that her husband is an Air Force captain.
Uh-huh.
So, and a correction on the story. The way the story read was that she was running in the race. She actually was not running in the race.
Oh.
She was a bystander watching the race. And so there we have that. But yeah, and she, in this little interview that I saw, she looks good. She looks happy. So continued success to her, and hope she recovers.
Yep. Good luck with that.
Oh,
Best wishes.
all right. This one here. Let's see. Did I? Okay, here we go. I saw this, and I had to bring it up. Because I was looking for good news. Because I am still sick and tired of the doom and gloom and the politics and all the bullshit. But this one here, it starts off kind of rough, but ends very well. The headline is, U.S. female sailor beats Dubai racist bus driver into submission.
All right.
An off-duty U.S. Navy sailor wrestled a Dubai bus driver to the ground and beat him into submission after he tried to rape her at knife point. Okay, now this story just came out last Thursday, but the attempted rape took place back in January 19th. The woman, 28, was on 24-hour shore leave in Dubai when she was attacked by a bus driver after he picked her up from the mall of Emirates Shopping Center. Let's see here. I noticed he did not take the main road. When I asked him, he told me not to worry, she said, according to the Daily Mail. He stopped where several other buses were parked and tried to kiss her. After she refused, he pulled out a knife and tried to rape her. Now this is where it gets good. Prosecutors said she knocked the knife from his hand, broke it in two, bit him in the hand, forced him to the ground, and locked him between her thighs.
Anchors away, biatch.
That's right. The man known as KS has been charged with attempted rape, threatening to kill, assault, and consuming alcohol illegally. So good for her, kicking his ass, broke his knife in two. Can you imagine? Here you are, you're some, wannabe badass going after a little girl, and she disarms you, snaps your knife in two. Oops.
Big clue right there.
Oh, way to go, sister. Good for her. Good for her. All right. Now this story, this is the one I was gave you a little teaser in the before we started broadcasting. This is a very cool story, and we might have a job for one of our fellow veterans because of this story. So, Vera, if you're listening, dear, this may interest you. Luke Skywalker goes Navajo. Star Wars gets a new translation. What? The classic 1977 film launched a science fiction empire and revealed the Force within a farm boy who battles blah, 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 blah. We all know the friggin' story.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh boy. Manuelito Wheeler, the director of the Navajo Nation Museum, reached out to Lucasfilms with the idea of translating it into Navajo. And what he wants to do is to help preserve the Navajo language. And so it'll be educational and entertaining. And what I did not see until like just before I clicked the record button. Let's see. A team of 5 Navajo speakers spent 36 hours translating the script for Star Wars 4: A New Hope. And now they are looking for fluent Navajo speakers to fill some 24 roles. Casting calls are scheduled Monday in Burbank, California. May 3rd and 4th, the unofficial Star Wars holiday. Let's see, and this would be... casting calls are scheduled. This thing reads very weird, how they wrote this. Okay, I'm going to read it as written, okay? And you tell me this doesn't sound strange. Casting calls are scheduled Monday in Burbank, California. And May 3rd and 4th... Oh, now I understand. The unofficial Star Wars holiday at the Navajo Nation Museum in Window Rock, Arizona. Okay. Now it makes sense to me.
Okay.
So, May 3rd and 4th in Window Rock, Arizona, there will be, at the Navajo Nation Museum, there will be casting calls. So, those who speak fluent Navajo, if you're interested, I mean, hell.
Yeah.
How cool would it be to have Vera be Princess Leia, huh?
Hey, I could go for that.
Put some Cinnabons on the side of her head, and she's all set.
There you go. Get your butt back home, Vera, so you can voice this movie.
But that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is.
I saw it and figured, get that word out there.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Let's go to our famous veteran.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you what. No, this one's a little long. Okay. So what do you have?
Well, I'll give you my veteran story, and then you can go into yours.
Okay.
World War II leather bomber jacket returned after 60 years. John Dodds, a self-described military buff, retired member of Air Force Reserve, was shopping at a Goodwill store. Now, this is out in Washington, I believe, state. And shopping at Goodwill with his daughter. She called him over to look at a nice leather jacket. It was in really good shape. It had a name on a leather name tag sewn on the front. And he paid $17 for it. But then he just knew that he wanted to find out the story behind the jacket.
Right.
So he starts digging and looking for this Robert G. Arend. Within 24 hours, he found the 90-year-old Aaron, a former member of Air Force's 22nd Bombardment Group, and told him he had his jacket. And he said the last time he'd wore the jacket was in November of 1945, in San Francisco when he came back from the war. So he said, I remember my wife asking me if I was ever going to wear it again, and I said I didn't think so, except for a veterans parade. So she gave it to a charity organization in Cincinnati in 1950.
And the moral of this story is don't friggin' get married because they're going to give your shit away or just take it.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Why the hell would she do that?
Because he said he wasn't going to wear it anymore.
I don't give a damn. That's his jacket. Yeah. That's his bomber jacket.
Okay, all right. You've ruined it. You ruined the whole.
No, it's a great
story.
It's a great story, though.
God.
No, it's a great story.
I'm going to turn my mic off and pout.
No, don't do that. No.
Anyway, the plan is after he found the guy and talked to him on the phone, the plan is that Mr. Dodd is going to meet with Mr. Aaron and giving him his bomber jacket back after 60 years.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right, I'm shutting up now. What do you got?
All righty. I'm going to start with a quote, and I'm going to ask you to guess who it is. All right?
Okay.
I was a combat engineer. Isn't that ridiculous? The two things I hate most in the world are combat and engineering. Wow, vague as hell.
Yeah. It sounds like most of the combat engineers I know.
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks.
Yeah. Blazing Saddles fame and all of that.
Wow.
Yeah. He was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1926 as Melvin Kaminsky to Jewish parents from Germany and Ukraine. Brooks lost his father when he was 2 years old, and in retrospect reflects on that event as the genesis for his farcical comedy style. I'm sure a lot of my comedy is based on anger and hostility. Growing up in Williamsburg, I learned to clothe it in comedy to spare myself problems, like a punch in the face. Before he could complete his degree in psychology from Brooklyn College, Brooks was drafted into the Army to fight in World War II. He served as a corporal in the 1104th Engineer Combat Battalion, 78th Infantry Division as a combat engineer. One of his tasks during the war was to defuse landmines. Good Lord. He also fought in the Battle of the Bulge. Now that was a hell of a friggin' fight.
Mm-hmm.
It has been reported that when Germans played propaganda recordings over loudspeakers, Brooks responded by setting up his own sound system and played music by Al Jolson, a Jewish musician. Let's see. He would get in a further dig at the Nazi leader Adolf Hitler a few decades later when he directed The Producers, a comedy focused on the worst Broadway musical of all time, Springtime for Hitler. That was a very funny movie. Let's see. When reminiscing on his years in the Army, Brooks trots out his trademark humor. War isn't hell. War is loud. Much too noisy. All those shells and bombs going off all around you. Never mind death. A man could lose his hearing. He's kind of right. You know?
Yeah.
Asked by his son if during the war he thought about what it would take to rebuild post-war Europe. Now, this kind of shows the generational differences.
Mm-hmm.
He replied, You thought about how you were going to stay warm that night. How are you going to get from one hedgerow to another without some German sniper taking you out? You didn't worry about tomorrow.
Yeah.
And let's see. And finally, discharged as a corporal, Brooks performed stand-up comedy before writing for television programs such as the Admiral Broadway Review and Your Show of Shows. Taking on his new name of Mel Brooks, let's see, his career expanded into acting, directing, and producing. His achievements include classic films such as Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, which Young Frankenstein happens to be my daughter's favorite film. In recent years, he's focused his efforts on Broadway productions and is one of the few entertainers to earn an Oscar, Emmy, Tony, and Grammy.
Wow.
So big salute to Mel Brooks.
I would think that being a combat engineer in World War II picking landmines would be a good reason to have sarcastic humor.
Yeah. Well, a Jewish landmine picker.
Yeah.
In World War II, no less. So, but, I mean, good God. I mean, we've all done the thing where you're crawling on the ground with the, either a knife or bayonet or something, sticking it in the ground, looking for those fake landmines.
Yeah.
And some of us have done it, looking for real landmines, but damn, that was his job.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you.
Well, salute to Mel Brooks.
Yeah, and all I've got after that is weather. So,
all right, let's start off with some idiot news. Everything I have today just is fuel on the fire for my disgust with the human race as a whole. Oh, Baltimore, Maryland. Prison gang leader fathered 5 children with 4 guards.
Yeah, I read this last week.
Tavon White, allegedly of the Black Guerrilla family gang. Now that's Guerrilla, G-U-E. Bragged about his position of power within the jail. In an intercepted phone call, he made claims about, I am the law, my word is law. If I told a blankety blank to do this, hit a police, do that, kill a blankety blank, do anything, it got to be done. Period. Apparently had sexual relations with 4 female prison guards. It doesn't go into how many relations with the male prison guards, but they had 2 of the women had his name tattooed on their bodies, one on her neck and the other on her wrist. No, that's not a clear sign.
No, not obvious at all.
According to the indictment by prosecutors, these sexual relations cemented the business ties and the association of the correction officers with this enterprise. The guards he compromised are said to have smuggled in cell phones and drugs. One prison guard was given a diamond ring. Others were given cars to drive. Mm-hmm. Blah, 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 blah. So basically, here's this dude. He's in prison, and he's knocking up female prison guards to the tune of 5 new kids, and ends up getting 25 people charged with racketeering and drug offenses, including inmates, guards, and outside suppliers.
And he was only supposed to be in for 23 months. 23 months for, organizing dogfighting or some bullshit like that. And yeah.
Shit.
And dude runs the friggin' show. So, I mean, I guess kudos to him,
Yeah.
I mean, but...
And is he gonna? And is he, after he serves his sentence for this indictment, are they gonna tack time on for not paying child support for these 5 kids from prison guards? Oh, good Lord! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, rehabilitation does not work.
No.
Moving along. In West Haven, Connecticut.
You're picking all the good states, all the great ones.
I'm just going to try and get through this without starting on a rant about the human race. Police are looking for Michael L. Peterson, age 34, in connection with a robbery at Sam's Food Mart this past Sunday. Reportedly, a masked suspect allegedly entered the store, pulled out a handsaw, threatened the employee, and stole the store's cash register. Okay.
I may have to turn off my microphone.
We have to ban these saws. People
Handsaws?
Handsaws, yes.
Dink, dink.
Good Lord. Okay. In Petropolis, Brazil.
They got pretty women down there.
Yeah, but apparently the men aren't so bright. Doctors in Brazil said a man was less lucky to escape death and avoid brain damage when he shot himself through the eye with a harpoon gun.
Why? Was this a suicide attempt?
Bruno Catino was cleaning his harpoon gun at his Petropolis home when it accidentally fired, sending the harpoon through his left eye and into his head. Well, if it goes through your eye, it's going to end up in your head, not your, leg or something. Good report in there. X-ray showed the metal harpoon went straight through to the back of his cranium, and surgeons removed it after 10 hours of operations.
Well, apparently it didn't hit anything important, like a brain.
Well, come on now. The guy's cleaning his harpoon gun, loaded, and shoots himself in the head with it. Are we worried about his brain?
No. Well, like I said, at least it didn't hit anything important like a brain.
Yeah. Anyway, he avoided brain damage, but he lost his left eye, and he's expected to be discharged from the hospital in a few days. Good job, Bruno.
Moron news. Good Lord.
And to top it off, let's head back north to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan in Canada.
Hey, our neighbors to the north.
Scott Napper. God, Jack, if he's related to you, I don't want to ever speak to you again. Scott Napper, a biochemistry professor at Saskatoon School, hypothesizes that a person could benefit from picking his or her nose and eating the findings.
Okay. I've read before that is part of the immune system building of young children. But no, not as no. No.
Yeah. Well, he theorizes that by consuming those pathogens caught within the mucus, could that be a way to teach your immune system about what it's surrounded with? And he goes on to say, I've got 2 beautiful daughters, and they spend an amazing amount of time with their fingers up their nose. And without fail, it goes right into their mouths afterwards.
Ugh.
Napper said he has designed an experiment to test the hypothesis.
You're gonna make me puke.
All you need are volunteers. You would put some molecule in their nose, half the group then go about their normal business, and the other half would pick their nose and eat it. Then you would look for immune responses. Seriously, Jack, I love you, man, but if this guy's family, I'm cutting you off.
Oh, God.
And that's stupid human news for today.
Oh, I'm trying not to retch. Ugh.
Weather?
Ugh. I don't know if I can get through it. Oh. This is where I could tell a really funny story about my daughter, but I won't. But, ugh. So you're welcome, Sarah.
Yeah.
Hold on. I need to drink something. Boogers gross me out. Sorry.
To watch the boogers down?
Oh. Good gravy. That's so fucking nasty. All right. Today we are going to Saratoga, Texas. Now, the reason we're going to Saratoga, Texas is because we're going to go full circle here. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Saratoga, Texas was where George Jones was born.
Ha-ha.
Ha-ha. Actually, he was born just outside of the town. In a log house.
They have logs in Texas.
I'm sure that they... Well, I think they did back then. I'm sure that back in those days, that was what, about 200, 300 years ago, they had trees in Texas. But in Saratoga, Texas, right now, let's see, it's 79 degrees, feels like 80. Wind is out of the west-southwest at 2 miles an hour. Humidity is 50%. Again, not too terrible for there. Let's see here. Today we're looking at a high of 88, with winds from south-southwest at 10 miles an hour. Humidity we're at 53%. Oh, yeah, and the UV index is very high. And tonight they're looking at 60 degrees with a 10% chance of rain, with winds from the south at 7 miles an hour, with a humidity of 72%. Oh, yeah. Yep. But there you go. That's your weather from George Jones' hometown of Saratoga, Texas.
All right.
Your booger eating story grossed me out. You had to go there. Good God.
And I'm not gonna apologize for that.
No.
My bomber jacket story.
Well, I didn't mean to ruin your bomber jacket story. No, I didn't ruin it. I just kind of, threw a little addendum in there. I love the bomber jacket story. That was very cool. I like those lost and found stories, like the people who what was it? Somebody found in a box a Purple Heart from a veteran from, I believe, World War II, and it was eventually they tracked the family down, and they found some niece, and that was like the only surviving member of the family, but they made sure that the niece got all the information. And so that, I love those kind of stories. Those are great.
Yeah. I think I'm done with news for the day.
I think I'm going to go throw up after this. So disgusting.
You're welcome.
Thanks. I won't be eating today. So I guess that about does it. And what is today? Today's Monday. So anything on the schedule?
Nope, nothing that I can think of. The weather's kind of turned on us a little bit with the drizzle and the wind, so probably won't be a lot getting done.
Fair enough. Alrighty. Well, I will see you soon, and the rest of you out there, we will talk to you on Thursday. That about does it. So, Have a good week.
Keep your powder dry.